What up, y'all? Big Dave, CHGO Bulls is now in your face and in your ears. Coming up on the show, our guy, Terrence Oglesby, analyst for Hornets Live, is going to be joining us talking about Noa Essengue and some Josh Giddey stuff. And speaking of Josh Giddey, he's got options, ladies and gentlemen, that we did not even know about. We will dive into that. And also, FIBA Eurobasket 2025 is going on right now. And Vooch had himself a game. We'll talk about that more with the GOAT next. CHGO Bulls, hi. Welcome to the show. Thank y'all for being here today on this Wednesday, hanging out with us, y'all. I am Big Dave. Bam. That is the GOAT, Will the GOAT Gottlieb on the ones and twos, the one and only Sarah to the Bear.
Hi.
Thank y'all for joining us. Hi, Sarah. How you doing?
Good.
You look wonderful.
You look wonderful.
Well, thank you. Right back at you.
Will, you look wonderful.
Stuff. Appreciate that,
you
man.
Look wonderful too.
And also, we got a wonderful Die Hard promo
guest
going on for the people as well, man. Die Hard promo is happening, y'all. You get the CHGO Die Hard tailgate tier is what you can get. This includes 2 free Bears tailgate tickets every year, a free CHGO shirt, full Die Hard access, and much, much more. And you don't have to be a new member. If you're already a Die Hard, you can upgrade with a prorated discount. Guess what, y'all? Value for only $89.99. That is the deal, ladies and gentlemen. Get up on it. We'll see you at the next tailgate. Can't wait to talk Bears and stuff with y'all. Shout out to Braggs. Shout out to Carm. Shout out to Hogue. We're ready for all that. But right now, we got a special guest on our airwaves right now. He has joined us every year, basically every year of this show. He has come on here and had a discussion with us, man. And it is always great to talk to him. His basketball knowledge is endless. His basketball knowledge about the NBA draft is endless, and he's just a wonderful person at the same time, ladies and gentlemen. He is an analyst for Hornets Live. You can also, I'm sure you've seen him on the Field of 68 podcast. It's on ESPN, Fox TV, all that stuff as well. But he is main man, Terrence Oglesby, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on, T?
You guys are looking good because I got gray in my beard and sleep in my eyes. And that's how I feel right now coming up on the season. I'm in full prep mode, but I appreciate you guys having me on like always.
Man, we appreciate you being here, man, for real. And that's a good look on you. Just let you know, it's a good look on you, my friend. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I don't know about that one. It catches up with you. It catches up with you.
Let me start you here, man. Let's start with the draft. Let's start with the Bulls and who they selected. Noa Essengue, who they have picked up. We saw him in Summer League. Now, just removing the Johnny Furphy dunk that he had on him, which was absolutely vicious. Can you talk about Noa Essengue, what you've seen from him, what you like about him, what you don't like about him, and his potential with the Chicago Bulls?
I think the big thing that stands out about him is like the versatility. He's listed at 6'10". Is he 6'10"? I don't know. Everybody looks 6'10" out on an NBA floor. But I think the versatility is a big thing. Here's where it's interesting to me is because one of the big detractors about Noah for me, guys coming in, was the fact that he decided to miss the championship series for Ratio Farm Ulm, which hasn't done that in forever. So like this was hugely important, not just for the team, but the town. And my man just said, no, I'm good. And they were up in the series 2-1. Team comes back and beats them. So I'm a little up in the air on that. Like, do you really want to compete? I don't know. To me, that's a big issue. But it reminds me a lot, guys, of Marvin Williams, kind of how he just goes about his business. He's not going to overexert himself. Aloof is not the right word, but there's times where he'll disappear. And I think you guys, it's pretty easy to see, as he continues to play, he just disappears and he kind of lets the game come to him almost to a fault. And whenever you have that much natural talent, it's like, come on, like I say all this. Marvin Williams played 20 years in the NBA, and now he's a coach. So like, he's going to be a good player. How does it fit in? I do worry about the competitive piece though, because I don't know many other guys that would be skipping the finals, which you've been working on for the entire year. And keep in mind too, gentlemen, like in Germany, that preseason's 2 months. The season's 8. So you've been working on this with your team for 10 months. And I'm good. That worries me. That being said, natural tools are certainly there. He was really good in the Bundesliga, averaged almost a steal and a half a game in an older league. So like, this is a guy that has potential. Is it in his chest? Because I don't see it, guys. I wouldn't have left. And I wasn't near the player he was. But like, you don't leave a championship series when you finally have the chance to win it. Is that scathing? I didn't mean for that.
Not at all. I love it.
To me, like, that's a worry.
I would say it's a little scathing, but I'm glad you shared that, because we haven't really seen anything about him. We obviously were around him a little bit for summer league, but we don't know him as a person yet. Sure. And so that's something I'm obviously looking forward to for the coming year, and just throughout his Bulls tenure, just like, who is this guy, and like what can we learn about him? And he is only 18 years old, which is crazy to me. And so I'm curious, just from your draft evaluation perspective, and I know it's hard to like completely separate the personality and like the competitive fire and spirit from how you evaluate him as a draft prospect, but like, where was he on your draft board? What did you think about him as a prospect in general, and then the fit with the Bulls specifically? Do you feel like they can bring the most out of him and get the most out of him?
I had him 13th on my board. Need somebody else to make it happen for him. You better figure out this Josh Giddey situation. like, somebody's got to do it for him. But I think the natural tools are there. And keep in mind, guys, playing major minutes at 18 years old is not something that just happens. So, the natural ability's there. Played for the French national team. I think like got minutes over the course of last year. So like, the talent's there. You're 6'10" and can move, and he just has a certain smoothness about him. High level role player if he gets that opportunity. But as guys, I was telling you before we got on here, Bulls have a lot of the same guy. Like is he going to be able to step in and play a lot? And I was all hyped about Julian Phillips getting to the Bulls, because I was like, well, this fits. Dallin Terry hasn't really worked out. But like, here we are. We've drafted another long wing that projects as a role player. Can he be great? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you about another long, lanky guy on the Chicago Bulls, in Matas Buzelis, who had a pretty solid rookie season.
It was good.
Yeah, definitely. His face, he's moving towards becoming like the face of the Chicago Bulls per se. What did you see about that season that he had, and what are your expectations for him coming into this second year?
I think there's going to be an uptick in his production. It took him a second to get going, if I remember correctly, like maybe a couple of months to really get comfortable. And, even with rookies, even for a guy who was with the Ignite, like these things, 82 games, a long season, a long season. So like, it takes some of these guys to kind of get, used to the scenario that they're in. But you look at all the things that he has, like he attacks the rim with reckless abandon. He has some creativity off the bounce. What he averaged 8.5 points, 9 points a game, something like that. That projects as something that's going to continue to improve, especially if he continues to improve his 3-point shooting. Like, a lot of those things are going to open up. And the thing that I love about him, and as you guys do too, is the fact that he's so confident. He thinks he's the best player on the floor wherever he walks. That means a lot more in the NBA than I think people realize. It's like on Ted Lasso, he's like, what would you rather be, a lion or an elephant? He's like, I'm me. Why in the world else would I want to be anything else? Well, kind of the same thing. Like, that would have been Matas's answer as well. Like, he's got that kind of bravado and self-confidence that you need to be able to be a high-level scorer in the NBA. So I expect him to continue growing. What his ceiling is, we're going to see that, obviously, but I don't know right now. It's really all going to come down to, is he a good enough shooter to knock down shots consistently? Because once people have to start stepping out on him, that's where the athleticism can really flourish.
Yeah. You just mentioned him. We're going to spend some more time talking about him as we have almost every day here for the last 2 months of free agency. But Josh Giddey, just the situation and your perspective on that, in terms of, obviously right now his contract is up. He is, has the opportunity to take the qualifying offer or come to an agreement with the Bulls. But what did you make of his year, and particularly the way that he finished the season in terms of his production relative to maybe some of the questions that you and I'm sure a lot of other people had about him and just being like the lead guy on an NBA team?
I don't have his stats right in front of me. Do you have those right now? Like, what were his points, assists, rebounds? Like, that's the thing that sticks out to me when watching him, is his ability to make an impact on every part of the game. What he shot from three. I don't have all these things pulled up. I'm just sitting here spitballing with you guys. But
so pre-All-Star break, I'll give you the splits. Pre-All-Star break, in 28.5 minutes per game, 12.2 points, 7.1 rebounds, 6.4 assists, 44, 34, 75 shooting splits. After All-Star break, he goes nuclear. He explodes. 34 minutes per game, so up almost 6 minutes per game. 21.2 points, 10.7 rebounds, 9.3 assists, almost a triple-double. He shoots 50% from the field, 45.7% on threes, and 80% from the line. 62 true shooting. So just incredible hot stretch from him in those last 19 games. And I guess that's the question we're grappling with, is like, how real is that? Where is the truth on the spectrum of these two extremes? What do you make of all that?
Just out of curiosity, which of those splits do you think his agent's feeding to the Bulls, Brad?
Yes, all of it.
What would you say? 44% from three. If that continues, wow. You have an efficient playmaker at the one. Over those last 19 games, you could kind of see his game expand, and he just makes a big impact on how they played. They're going to have to continue building. That's kind of the only thing. I do like the fact that I like Kevin Huerter a lot better there than some of the guys they had before, because Kev can space the floor. Side note, Kevin ditched our fantasy football league. He was in my league. It was me, him, Waka Flocka, and Roscoe Dash, and my man took off, left. So I'm mad at Kev for that. But all of that being said, no, I just – you have to put the right pieces around him. And when you have a guy that can just get into the lane, how he does, in kind of this awkward fashion, like, it really helps things. And jumbo playmakers, I think they're in vogue. I think you pay that man some money. And how old is he? He's 24. He's 22. Wow.
Giddey, right?
22.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's young. He's a young one, T.
Yeah, he is young. He is young.
Absolutely.
So I think, a guy like Giddey, who doesn't rely on like super duper quickness, that kind of player too, as long as he stays healthy and limber, like, he's going to last a long time. So if you have a guy that's averaging 20, 10, and 9, I would start to consider, like, that's big money. And I'm sure that's why he's holding out anyway.
Sure. Absolutely. Before we get you out of here, man, we appreciate you hanging out with us. I have to ask you about the Hornets and their draft and what they did, because I loved what you all did in the draft. Knipple is one of my favorites. You talked about, Essengue and how he left, and how that bothers you. Knipple is definitely not built that kind of way. That dude has that thing in him where he wants to win all of the time. How do you see the fit of those draft picks with these Hornets, and do you think some moves may need to be made, to clear some space for those guys?
I think Khan starts pretty soon. That's the big one. I think he starts pretty soon, just because he can impact the game in every way, and shooting is always in vogue. So, like, he's probably the best shooter in the draft, and his sheer competitiveness. I was at Cameron Indoor. I called the Duke Florida State game, and that was a game where Cooper Flagg goes down. He got hit in the face or something. He was out for the last 10 minutes of the first half, and they relied on Khan to kind of make these things happen. And I was really impressed with how he was on the ball. And that's not something that a lot of people kind of understood about him. Is he off the ball? Is he inside two dribbles? This, that, and the third. Khan's a guy who can make things happen, and he can be your secondary ball handler. And for the Hornets, if LaMelo just goes nuts for 3 possessions, you can say, hey, Khan, take it up. Let LaMelo get a breather, and let's let him be a second side guy as opposed to trying to initiate something early. So there's some positives there. I think he fits well with LaMelo and Brandon Miller, just because when those guys, if something happens and they're injured, Khan can come in and have a big game. So I'm really intrigued to see how that goes. I also like the other moves. I think Liam McNeely, he had too much on his shoulders at UConn. I think he's a much better shooter than he showed at 31% or something. Reminds me a lot of Rick Fox with his ability to like put it on the deck a little bit, and you can kind of have him as a small ball four in some spots. And then Kalkbrenner's to me, out of the 4 picks they had in the top 35, Kalkbrenner's the most interesting because you get rid of Mark Williams. Your current starter is Moussa Diabate, who is 6'10" and frail. And then it's Kalkbrenner, and Kalkbrenner's 4-time Big East Defensive Player of the Year. So I'm not like, he can play defense, and he had a game-winning block during the summer league, which those things tend to translate, guys. Like defense, positioning, understanding leverage, those things tend to translate. It's how is he going to be able to change ends? Yeah. He's not the most fleet of foot, but how's he able to change ends? I think it's possible. I think it's going to come to a point to where he's going to be able to step out and knock down some shots. Understated dude is going to be able to be a lob threat to an extent. I'm really intrigued to see how that one goes.
Coach, we appreciate you joining us, man. We wish we had more time to talk more of this stuff with you, but we'll definitely have you back on. But thank you for joining us for this, man. It's always great to see you, and shout out to Waka Flocka and Roscoe Dash along with that, my friend.
Man, they messed me up, man. Herder left, and then Roscoe got mad, so we had to pull everything. We pulled everything. I won the last time we played those, so that's important. But
that's the flex.
We're going from really important hoops talking right now. I got really important 9U hoops coming up here in about 30 minutes. So I got to bolt. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Appreciate you being here.
Thanks
We're going to
much.
take a break. We're going to talk Josh Giddey with the people next, man. CHGO Bulls on the way.
Whatever the sport, the app to bet is Circus Sports Illinois. Circus Sports, it's sports betting the way it should be. Circus Sports Illinois has high betting limits, low holds, and exceptional customer service. That means no AI, no chatbots trying to run Matt Peck off the face of the planet. You can bet on all your favorite teams in every game, every single season. Cubs season still underway. We'll see if they can make their way to the playoffs. And guess what, guys? We're a month out from Bulls training camp, so that will be here sooner than you think. You can bet on spreads, props, futures, or in-game live lines. Circus Sports has it all. Fund and bet like a pro from anywhere, anytime in Illinois. Download your new bookie today at circusports.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Can we be real for about a second right here?
Be real with me.
All right, let's be really real, son.
Be real.
The world's gone soft. It's soft right here, son. You know what I mean? Like participation trophies given out just for showing up, knowing you ain't get no hit at all. You know, everything is bubble wrapped up like that. You know, when you don't want to talk to somebody, you just ghost them and just leave them alone like that. What is going on out here? I don't like it. I don't like it. Matt Peck don't like it neither. And guess what? RC Cola don't like it. We used to like our cola with some kick, all right? A smack in the face, betwixt the solar plexus. That's how we liked our cola. But now RC Cola is back in business and doing their thing, and you need to be rocking with them because they are a staple. If you're eating pizza, you better have some RC Cola with you. That is a Chicago staple, ladies and gentlemen. The original cola that does not fold under pressure. RC is the OG cola in a world of spineless, soft drinks. Emphasis on soft. So do yourself a favor and grab some RC at your local store. Stock up for all you need, baby, for your end of the summer parties, back to school celebrations, or just watching the game because football starts very soon. RC is the move for whatever you're doing. RC Cola, smack.
Smack.
CHGO Bulls back in your face and on your airwaves, y'all. Big Dave, Will the Go Gottlieb, Sarah Bear, who just dropped a bomb on me and said she does not drink RC Cola. I don't like it.
I haven't had one in many moons.
This is true, and I'm not here to blame you. It's why I'm bringing it up. It's because I know you're not from Chicago. Like, it is a Chicago thing, so you probably haven't had a ton of RC Cola, but we are going to correct that because it is amazing.
Well, the RC Cola folks, amazing. Our friends over at RC, got to bring some by.
That's right. Bring them on by, and we will get Sarah Bear on the team for sure because she's willing. She's down. She just, didn't know about it. But here in Chicago, we had a whole discussion about it, like how it goes with pizza and everything, especially when we're kids. Like
the greasy hands.
Yes,
the
PlayStation
hands, controller.
The greasiness. It's important. This
RC
is all
Cola.
childhood
core
childhood stuff for us, Sarah Bear. So yeah, it's different. You grew up here. She grew up, shout out Kansas.
The pizza with the bag, you rip it open.
Oh,
Big Dave.
Yes, the paper
and
bag.
the RC Cola.
Yes.
I went to school in Kansas for 4 years, but I grew up in the suburbs, and then I moved here when I was 14. So I have been here a while, but I grew up in we're a big caffeine household, so it was more coffee, tea.
This makes sense.
And
this makes sense. And now you're an adult.
But that's a good question that Paul has. Is there an RC Zero? Because I do love Coke Zero, and I wonder if there's an RC Zero.
Well, there's a Diet RC for sure.
But there's a difference between the Diet and the Zero. Yeah.
This is true. You're
right.
right.
There's an RC Zero.
There is?
Okay.
According to
I'll try that one
Walmart
first.
and JewelOsco.com.
We on it. We on it. We're going to get Sarah Bear back on, baby.
It's pretty new, apparently. 6 months.
Oh, not bad.
According to this Reddit post. So
okay, not bad.
Take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah, well, I'll take it with my pizza is what I take it with. Thank y'all for joining us and hanging out with us, man. Big Dave, GOAT, Sarah Bear. Bam. Let's talk about Josh Giddey. Let's get into him a little bit more. You heard us talking with a wonderful guest, Terrence Oglesby, about him and his importance and, and his leverage that he may have. You know, I personally didn't think he had any. I thought he had no leverage at all, and the Bulls just had all the leverage. And then main man from The Athletic, Sam Vecenie, drops some knowledge on his Game Theory podcast. If you will put that quote up for me, please, Sarah Bear. This is from Sam Vecenie on Josh Giddey's contract negotiations. If I'm Giddey, I'm probably just willing to miss games. It's not like you're getting fined or anything. You're not under contract. Next one, please, Bear. I'm probably willing to sit here in restricted free agency, even into the season if I have to, and be like, okay, Chicago, you want to win games? Now, per the CBA, Josh Giddey could remain a restricted free agent and enter the season without a contract. This is very, very rare, like kind of like a first of its kind kind of situation. It could work because Josh Giddey, as you know, wants to be here for the Bulls. And as you know, the Chicago Bulls do not want to tank and they do not want to lose games. And Josh Giddey sitting out and the Bulls not having him on the floor is going to hurt the team. Like, he is an important figure to the team and being out there. So they don't want to lose games and they don't want to not have the guy that they traded their biggest asset for just not out there on the floor, who's just sitting on the bench upset. It's a move that he could do, and not one that I actually thought about that actually gives him some leverage in this because, as I just stated, the Bulls do not want to lose, bro. So, GOAT, hearing this news, like, tell me your reaction to this, and how does it sound to you?
It's honestly really interesting because, to your point, we have not really seen this before. Like, we've had guys decide, I'm just going to hold out and, like, bet on myself, but we haven't really seen in a situation where they're willing to actually hold out and not play in that season. And so I think the key here is the piece that you pointed out, which is that he would remain a restricted free agent. And that's where I just feel like there's still not that much leverage. Mm-hmm. Obviously, like from Giddey's standpoint, or not necessarily from his perspective, but on that side of the argument, you have the ability to hang over the Bulls' head, the ability to remain competitive, which we all know is the most important thing in the whole wide world, in the history of worlds, for the Chicago Bulls to remain competitive and not be a tanking team. I don't know. Maybe this is a separate conversation, but like, how much worse are the Bulls without Giddey? Let's save that for now.
Okay.
But,
all right.
Because I think it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But okay, let's say, I guess here's the timeline. Okay, it's summer. Obviously, training camp starts at the end of September. If nothing materializes by then, you're running up on the October 1st deadline, which is the point when the qualifying offer gets removed or rescinded. Mm-hmm. The Bulls can, in theory, extend the qualifying offer. And that's where I think you could take this into the season. However, I don't think there's much reason for the Bulls to do that because they don't want Giddey to take the qualifying offer, right? Like, they do want to retain him. They do want him around long term. Sure. And so if he takes the qualifying offer, that makes him an unrestricted free agent. Makes him a lot less money this upcoming season, but he would be an unrestricted free agent. He could sign wherever he want, and the Bulls would not have matching rights, which is the Bulls' leverage in all of this. So if Giddey is willing to not play and also not get paid this season, which is what he would do if they don't extend the qualifying offer and he just holds out, he wouldn't be getting paid. He wouldn't be picking up fines or anything because he's just not under contract. Right. But at the end of it all, he would still be a restricted free agent, and the Bulls could still match any offer that he's signed. So I think at that point he's putting pressure on the Bulls to win games now, which is a point of leverage, but he's also not like answering the question for himself, which is I want the most money possible for as many years as I can get it. And so I don't know. Like I do wonder if that leverage actually persists into the season, if at the end of the day the Bulls still have their restricted rights. Does that make sense?
No, it does, absolutely. It feels like a nuclear option for a guy like Josh Giddey, but an option nonetheless for him. Obviously, this means something to him because what we're hearing, at least that what we've heard and what we've read, the Bulls, and Giddey are probably $8 to $10 million apart, on a contract. And it means a lot to Josh Giddey to get a little bit closer, to that number than further away from it. And it feels like the Bulls are like, no, this is it. This is what you're going to get. This is exactly what we're going to give you. So if that's the case and it means that much to Josh Giddey, then I can absolutely see this being an option because when you're digging your heels in right now, and it feels like that's what's being done by Josh Giddey and his camp, when you're digging your heels in, you're like, okay, well, I can go with a nuclear option here and just say, I'm not even going to play. Also, it's a risk also too. I just want to stress that part. It's not a true like one-sided situation because there is a risk of you not playing and the Bulls still kind of performing, and being that.
And then you lose everything.
And then you lose it all. But we'll talk about that in the next segment. But it's a risk that he has, it's an option that he has to take. So right now for me, he's got the qualifying offer, which he can absolutely take and actually absolutely do. And now he's got this option where he can actually sit out games and then just see, what happens and what kind of transpires. So I guess my question for you here, Gold, is if he's sitting out in these games, can the Bulls still be negotiating a contract with him? And with him being a restricted free agent, can those other teams still be allowed to negotiate a contract with him even though the season is going on?
Yeah, so that's, I guess, where this whole thing kind of breaks down for me, which is that I think to your point, he can take the qualifying offer up until October 1st, at which point that gets rescinded unless the Bulls extend it, which, as I mentioned, they're not going to do. Mm-hmm. There's no real incentive for them to do that because they don't want him on the qualifying offer.
Sure.
He can come to an agreement and take less than what he wants, whether that's in the form of years or dollars or both, or he can take this option, which I like the way you phrase it, the nuclear option, which is the full holdout, where he has some leverage over the team and he can say I know you guys want to win, but I'm just not going to play unless you pay me what I think I'm worth. But the problem is the risk that he's assuming, which is that the Bulls play well without him. Because then it's well, why are we paying you at all?
Right.
And if he's still a restricted free agent, yes, he can take kind of get offers from other teams, but the Bulls can still match it or work out a sign and trade if it gets to be to a number that's not palatable.
Okay.
But even still, we know there aren't any teams that have the cap space to be able to give him what he wants. And so not only are you sacrificing your role, not only are you sacrificing immediate revenue in the form of your salary, but you're also sacrificing your leverage of I'm really good. We played really well down the stretch because of me. If the team plays well when you're not out there, and maybe we can talk more about how the team could look without Giddey for the second half of the year. But I think to me, he doesn't gain leverage in the marketplace.
Okay.
He does put some pressure on the Bulls if they're really if their real desire is to win every single game in front of them, but that shouldn't necessarily deter them because they still have the market leverage.
Okay. I hear what you're saying. I saw someone say in the comments, Giddey getting greedy. Shout out to James. Thanks for being here. I don't think it's greed per se on Josh Giddey's end. I think he's this is what I'm worth, and I would like to be paid what I'm worth. I don't mind how he's approaching it. I've said that several times. I don't mind how he and his agent are approaching this deal. This is exactly how you should approach it. You saw what I did in this half of the season. You saw what I did for the entire season. You see how important I am to this team. You see what I can do. You saw that Lakers game, didn't you? Wasn't that awesome? Did we not all have fun at the UC with that one? Well, how about, getting a little bit more of that on this team in a place that I want to be and I want my client to be. So I don't mind him, asking for the most amount of money he can possibly get. But I just want to know where the Bulls are and where he is as far as moving closer together to figure stuff out. We're going to get into more of this conversation a little bit more and then talk Vooch also playing over in the Euro League next, CHGO Bulls, after the break.
Big Dave, nobody likes being sweaty, least of all you, which is why you have your baby, your child, with you at every moment. And that's why everybody else here needs to get their heating, air conditioning, cooling, and electric ready to go with our friends from Four Seasons. Now is the time to get your air conditioning checked out. You might want to start thinking about your heating too, because fall is around the corner, and they can help you with AC installation, maintenance, and repair. It has been a brutally hot summer, so you know you want to be cold and cool and comfortable in your own home. And like I said, you want to be ready to stay warm come winter time. So schedule a Four Seasons AC tune-up today. You can save $50 and enjoy a 1-year no breakdown guarantee, or you can save up to $4,000 on new comfort systems with Four Seasons new AC units from $39 a month and AC furnace combos from $57 a month. Your trusted local experts are Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Visit fourseasonsheatingcooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's fourseasonsheatingcooling.com.
Go. What time is it?
Get out.
Yes. Last minute deals is what they got. That's why they're awesome. One of the many reasons why they're awesome. You can save up to 60% off buying last minute tickets for sports, concerts, comedy, and theater. Guess what Game Time got also? Zone deals. Fees are included. When you look at the price, that's all there. It's right in your face. The seat views, got to have them. The lowest price guarantee, and that Game Time ticket coverage, which comes with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. So go ahead and take that guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use that code CHGO. Get yourself $20 off your first purchase.
There's buy.
I said CHGO. Get yourself $20 off your first purchase.
There's buy.
Download Game Time today. Get the app. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Because Sarah Bear, I have a question for you. What time is it?
Game Time who?
Get the who. There it is. CHGO Bulls rolling along with you. Will the Go Gottlieb, Sarah Bear on production.
Bow.
Big Dave hanging out with y'all. I love how I can just infect everyone with my awesomeness and silliness at the same time. We're talking about Josh Giddey and his leverage that he may or may not have with the Chicago Bulls when it comes to his contract negotiations. The question that I wanted to ask in this one was one that you just kind of brought up, but if Josh Giddey does go nuclear and takes the nuclear arm and scorches the earth and decides to sit out for, no money or anything like that, but just to say, well, we know you guys want to win. We know you want to win games. You're better with me on the floor than you are without me. If that theory is tested, how good are the Chicago Bulls without Josh Giddey?
I think that's the question. And it's really what the Bulls should be thinking about when they're considering how much they want to pay him in the first place, right? Is like, does this, I know we can put up stats. This is what we said last summer. We knew he was going to have some big numbers. We knew he was going to have a stretch where he just put up like gigantic box score numbers, but does it impact winning? And I think it's hard to argue that it didn't in the second half of the year. I was mentioning his splits with Terrence when he was on. First half of the year, he was a minus 6.5. In the second half of the year, he was plus 9.9. So a huge swing.
Yeah.
But that only factors into the equation how much, like, how the team performed in games that he played. It doesn't necessarily compare his on-off splits, meaning like when he was on the court compared to when he was off the court. How did the team play? And he did miss a couple of games. I'm trying to pull it up as I'm talking here. But I believe like one of them was against the Cavs, and that was the game where the Bulls were up big and then blew it late. So it's not like they weren't able to compete at all without him. They won their last 2 games of the season without him against Washington and Philly. Not that impressive. They lost by 20 to the Cavs without him in that game where they rested everybody right before that really key game against the Heat.
Yes.
They won a game against Sacramento without him. And then they won 2 games. Brooklyn and Utah lost to Houston by only 3, which was obviously one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah.
And then
it's a good game.
That game where they were up big to the Cavs. but ended up losing by 20 down the stretch, where they just looked competitive, but the final score didn't really reflect that. So, like, is it crazy to me that they could remain sort of in that same area code where we're projecting them out to be, which is like in the 11-7 range of the Eastern Conference, regardless of whether Giddey is out there? I think so. Like, I don't think they really fall off a cliff in the way that they would with really any of these guys, because the depth and the play style is really, I think, what's keeping them afloat more so than the individual talent. And that's why we keep advocating for this team to get more talent.
Correct.
Right? They don't have the guys that are like keeping the floor high in the way that DeRozan was. Like, they were just going to be a 37, 38, 40 win team with DeMar DeRozan, because that's how good he is.
Yes.
But now they're doing that by virtue of their play style and by virtue of the fact that they're just like beating teams up, running them off the court and tiring them out, and then winning in the fourth quarter. So I don't know that, like, not having Giddey, if you have Trey Jones and Ayo Dosunmu and Kobe White out there to like fill in for him, it's more like, is having Giddey long-term going to elevate you to a point where you're not just a product of your floor, but you're a product of how high your ceiling can be? And that's always been the question about him, is like, what is your ceiling with a guy who struggles when he doesn't have the ball? And when he does have the ball, we don't know that he can really drive efficient offense because he hasn't done it in crucial moments.
Yeah. Man, yeah, that's well said. I agree with all of that. I think that also, while you were speaking, I'm immediately thinking about the Pacers. And now the Pacers are always in my head now, knowing that that's the comparison, you know, for this Bulls team, or what they're trying to be and what they're trying to develop. So when you lose a star, it affects you, you know, and I don't care who it is. It's going to affect you. It's going to change your team. Looking at the Pacers right now, knowing they won't have Tyrese Halliburton, one, they lost the NBA Finals. Two, you don't see them being listed as a playoff team, maybe a play-in team, you know, sneaking in, something like that, but not truly a playoff team. So that is truly going to affect it as well. So it makes me wonder, like, where Josh Giddey is as far as like a star status, you know, on this team. I know for a fact, let me just say this, in my opinion, I feel like it's a fact that if they don't have Kobe White there on the floor, it's going to really affect the Chicago Bulls, because you don't have that scorer. You don't have that fringe all-star kind of guy. We're talking about a Eastern Conference Player of the Month, somebody who hadn't done that since DeMar DeRozan. We know how good Kobe White is. He is your scorer. When you've got to have a bucket, you can give Kobe White the basketball. He will go get you that bucket. You got to have that clutch shot. He can go get those things for you. He's the guy on the whiteboard when the teams are planning on who to stop. Check the Miami Heat play-in game if you want to know about that. So we know Kobe White is that guy for sure. And I think it will really, truly affect the Bulls if he's not out there on the floor. I don't know how many other players I can really say that about on this team, because they have a lot of, like you said, a lot of guys they can really plug and play in this kind of style where you're just running and gunning, you know. And that, you know, is a good thing. It's not a bad thing, but it also doesn't give you leverage. And it doesn't give you leverage in this situation with Josh Giddey, because I agree with GOAT. Like, if Josh Giddey is not out there on the floor, you can still get the job done. You can get it done with Kobe White and Trey Jones. You can get it done with Kobe White and Ayo Dosunmu. You can get it done with moving Kobe White over to the point and cheating there for a couple of games as well. But you still have a ton of options. If you lose some guards on Indiana, Nimhard or Benedict Mathurin or anything like that, they'll still be plugging in. You know, they'll still be moving and chugging along because they have that kind of depth. But it's when they lose that true straight-up star that they are going to suffer and things are going to be an issue. And with Josh Giddey, he's really solid and he's good. And he had a great second half of the season. Can he really, truly affect winning? Can he really, truly affect losing in that nature? Those are the questions that I wanted answers to coming into this season, because I still don't know. I know it with Kobe White. I don't know it with Josh Giddey, and I don't think the Bulls would suffer too much if he's not out there on the floor.
Yeah, and just trying to dig into some more of these numbers while you're talking.
Sure.
They don't really allow you to separate it by portion of the season. So, like on Cleaning the Glass, for example, they just have his on-off net rating for the whole season, which was 0. It was the Bulls were no better, no worse with him on the court versus when he sat.
Wow.
On databaller.com, which we looked at the other week, this is just pure plus minus. So it's not looking at how the team performed when you were off the court. It's only looking at when you were on the court. Plus 5.4 in the final 20 games, minus 3.5 for the first however many, 52.
Okay.
62. So again, I think like the sample size is the key here. And I also think like the play-in game should count for something too. If you are a team that is so desperate to make the play-in every year, you can't just say, well, the result of the play-in doesn't matter because we played well in the final 20 games. No, you have to own the result of that.
Yeah.
It is, as Billy Donovan likes to say, a results-oriented business. And the process is an important piece. But like if you're running into the same result every time, or the result is confirming what you suspect about a player or the team, then that should count for something. And maybe that's how the Bulls are viewing it. But we saw Giddey just get picked on time and time again in that play-in game. They put Bam Adebayo on him, and they put and it just completely stopped them. And then they put Tyler Hero on him on the other end and just picked at him the entire time. Yeah. And it was just really hard for him to get going. I also thought Kobe struggled in that game. It's not like it's just all on Josh, but like
he did.
Those are real questions. And like you've said this consistently, and I agree with you for the most part. The one thing I disagree with, which is when you say all these answers are going to come like right away at the start of the season. And not to say I disagree with that, because I do. My concern, I guess, with that is, well, what if they don't for Josh? Like, what if you go through the entire season and it's the same result as what you got last year, which is stretches where he gets played off the court in the fourth quarter, and then stretches where he puts up a 20-point triple-double and hits half-court threes to win games. Like, are we really learning anything about him other than he can have those peaks and valleys? And when you have those, that's fine, but it's just like you need to have a certain level of consistency if you are going to be a star player in the NBA. And ultimately, like, whether the Bulls pay him $30 million or $40 million or $20 million or $10 million, his role is going to stay consistent because of who he is as a player. And I think that's the challenge, is how do you get him at a number where if you have to reduce his role, he can still be a value contract? Because as we were talking about before the show, the Vooch extension, they signed him 3 years, $60 million when there wasn't really anything in the market that would indicate they needed to go to that number.
Player option.
Vooch is a former All-Star. He had a down season the year before. I don't think the Bulls should have given him that much money because they had no reason to. But like, we're talking about a former All-Star who last year was in the second of his 3-year contract. So, season and a half left, and they couldn't get a second-round pick for him at the trade deadline because he was making too much money, and that was only $20 million. So you expect the Bulls to be able to get excess value for Josh Giddey, who's never been an All-Star, who has these dramatic ups and downs. If he doesn't play super well for like an extended period of time to the point where he's convinced people that that's the true Josh Giddey, I just think that could be a really damaging contract. And for me, if I'm putting this team together, what I want is a contract that even if he has to be reduced to a 6-man role, that's still a value contract to where I could get something for him in a trade. And he hasn't shown a willingness to want that role, and he certainly hasn't shown a willingness to want the money of somebody who is playing that role. And that is totally okay. Josh should be wanting to get as much money as he can. And he has shown flashes of being a player that deserves the kind of contract that he's talking about. But he just hasn't done it consistently. And so if you're the Bulls, there's no reason for you to go there, as we've talked through a million times. But for me, I think circling this back to the conversation about his leverage and all this, like, none of that helps him answer the question of, are the Bulls better with him? And is the last 20 games the real Josh Giddey? Because if he's not playing and he's holding out, and the Bulls are just consistently putting up the same type of stats they were, having the same type of record that they had because their system and their depth allows them to, then that hurts him.
Yeah. You also didn't mention Yuki and that he's a part of this as well, because I wasn't out there. He needs to be playing. Shout out to you all in the chat, man. Appreciate all the comments you all are sending in. Definitely seeing them. Eric J says, without Josh, you lose your best playmaker. I'm sorry, without Josh, you use your best playmaker and one of your best rebounders and your floor general. If we ain't playing Io at the point, we're a donkey. Yeah, he's a general. He's your playmaker for sure. And the reason, Goat, I was saying, back to the point I was making about getting those questions answered early, and how dare you disagree with me.
It wasn't even really.
I know, dog. I'm just picking on you, man. But the reason I feel like it will still happen early, even for a guy like Josh Giddey, is kind of for those reasons right there. Like, you have a year under your belt. The team knows what they're doing with Josh Giddey. It's nothing to figure out anymore as far as how he moves and what he likes to do and how he likes to play. So I feel like that's going to get simplified and figured out early on. And even if the answer as the season goes is no answer, for me, that's still the answer.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that's a great point.
And it's like, I know what he is. It's what I saw last year. Okay, ups and downs, peaks and valleys. He's going to be great sometimes. He's going to be down sometimes. And it's not going to be consistent. I feel like that's when you know how to kind of move forward. I don't feel like it'll be that way if Josh Giddey gets this contract. I think it will be more pronounced than that. But even if I get that, I still feel like I have an answer as to what Josh Giddey is and what he kind of means to this team. And if it's that up and down thing, then the Bulls, again, look smart in the contract that I'm sure they want him to sign if he's going to be in here playing. So, again, I don't disagree with how the Bulls are playing this. I don't disagree with how Josh Giddey is playing this. I think they both kind of want each other, and they are just kind of a valley apart, with each other. I don't know how they get closer on that, but we'll see how it goes. But when September starts, man, and it starts rolling around and that clock starts ticking down, I don't know, but these teams going to have to, not these teams, but this team and Josh Giddey is going to have to figure out what they really want to do.
Well, I think that's actually maybe the best argument that you've made indirectly maybe for the qualifying offer.
Okay.
Which is, no matter how he starts the season, you actually will get the answers you're looking for, because if it's not great, then we know he's just not a consistent player and you can't pay him like that.
Right.
If he starts great, then you feel more comfortable with that. And obviously there's going to be ups and downs, but at least he was doing it during an important segment of the season and doing it consistently for the last 20 games of last year, plus however long you're evaluating that into next season. And so even if he doesn't do it at a high level consistently to start the year, that's still the answer that you're looking for.
Yeah.
And then you get to a point where, you're either comfortable paying him or you're comfortable letting him walk or trading him, or you have no reason to pay him. It's like there actually is, I think, in some ways, I guess the point is, in some ways, would you rather risk having to pay more for something that you're more certain with, or risk losing it for nothing, whether, he's good or bad?
Yeah.
Or would you rather pay him now for something that you're not certain about, even if it's not quite as much? Would you rather save 20% or 50% on a contract and just not know, or would you rather spend an additional 50%, but at least know that he is that player?
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the conundrum. I almost wonder if they should just pull their offer entirely and say, you're betting on yourself this year because we're not paying you. So you have to.
Yeah, that could be something. Wow. I love the point.
Wouldn't you love to talk about this for 82 more games?
Yeah, actually. As long as there's games involved, I would. But I love the point you brought up about how the Bulls are, where they're operating from, because I think that's a very key point as far as they're operating from a team that's consistently making the play-in, more so than, again, the Pacers, who were a team that were operating from a team that is making the playoffs and consistently trying to make the playoffs because they have those stars. I feel like that hurts your leverage also as well, because you don't have to be great to make the play-in. You could be good and make the play-in, but you don't have to be great to kind of do those things. You can still do the status quo. You can't be
great and make the play-in.
You can't be great and make the play-in.
You have to do better than that. If you're going to be considered a great team, you have to be better than a play-in team.
No argument.
Unless you're the Heat.
No argument. Well, Jimmy Butler is proving you wrong. How dare you go against your guy? He's proving you wrong. But yeah, man, you have to be great. It's rare occasions where teams like Jimmy Butler and that kind of go deep. But in general, the rule is the rule.
That's the exception to the rule.
Yes, but the rule is still the rule. And it feels like the Bulls don't operate in a sense of a team that is going to the playoffs or is trying to make the playoffs and make that run. They're a team that wants to be, kind of fun, find out what they have with the young guys, but still make the play-in. The problem with that is that's making the play-in has been the MO regardless of how the Bulls have gone about it. whether they've been a young team trying to figure it out or whether they've been a veteran team that feels like they're better than that. It's been the play-in, and now this year, again, the play-in. So it hurts Josh Giddey in that situation because that elevation hasn't been there as far as taking them to a different level other than the play-in, even flirting with a 6 seed or anything like that. Like the Bulls, firm into that 9, firm into that 8. Firm into that battling for the 10th spot in the play-in. So I feel like that really hurts that argument for Josh Giddey as far as sitting out is concerned, because him sitting out, and you don't want to lose, but you can still make the play-in and not have, a guy, even if you consider him your best player, you can still make the play-in in the East without your best guy being out there on the floor, man. Like, it's a thing. The Bulls have that kind of depth and play that kind of style and are that kind of team where that can truly happen for them. So that hurts Josh Giddey. I really hope this gets done, though. I really do. I've said if something doesn't get done by September, then there needs to be, a little sense of worry and a little sense of concern. Well, September's next week, ladies and gentlemen. So it's right around the corner. So we'll see what it looks like, especially after that Labor Day, or if something gets done. But if that contract does get done, you better believe Emergency Pod, CHGO Bulls, will be in full effect.
Can we follow that thread just
please
to the logical conclusion?
Come on with it.
Which is the qualifying offer. Like, let's say it just breaks down, nobody's willing to budge, and the Bulls basically say, like, it's a qualifying offer. Like, we're not gonna make you an offer.
Okay.
You got to take the qualifying offer and bet on yourself, so that we have the ability to, like, know what we should pay you. Like, so we can have conviction in the salary that we're gonna offer you. Just looking at, like, the cap teams for next season.
Okay.
There's just not a lot of teams out there that have space.
For Giddey, you're saying?
For Giddey, even next year. And so, like, yes, he would be an unrestricted free agent. Teams could pull off sign-in trades. But right now, for ahead of the 2026-27 season, cap space teams equal the Brooklyn Nets with $23 million. They are a team that just proved that they are not willing to invest in Giddey. They just drafted a bunch of guards who need the ball in their hands, who have similar limitations. Nobody else has cap space. Yeah. The Bulls can. But, like, I just don't think that there is going to be an offer out there for Giddey next summer where the team is willing to offer him the same role that the Bulls are going to offer him and the same amount of money. And I think the Bulls, if they were back to a wall and another team came in with an offer, I do think they would probably match it. Because I don't think they want to lose Giddey. I think they do want him there.
Sure.
But I just don't know that, like, the qualifying offer is a good option for Giddey, because it doesn't feel like it will result in him getting a bigger payday next summer, even though the Bulls will sacrifice the leverage that they have in the form of his restricted free agency. And so if I'm the Bulls, maybe I'm okay with him taking the qualifying offer, because we get to go through another season. Now his cap hold is on the book for next year and not this year. You can create even more cap space to go out and make a bigger splash in free agency and actually maybe have a max player. You then can line up Kobe, Ayo, and Giddey together on the books and make a real informed decision based on, at the very least a year and a half, but really 2 years of information about the core that you've built. So I think maybe you're talking me into the qualifying offer.
Soon Go will be on here saying, maybe he's a qualifying offer. Oh, I can't wait till that song catches on nationwide. That's going to be awesome. Before we get out of here, let's talk about EuroLeague basketball, sir. Let's get into it. The FIBA Eurobasket 2025 qualifying games are going on right now as we speak. Started very early this morning. One of the early games was Montenegro going against Germany, and Montenegro is of significance, obviously, because shout out to Nikola Vucevic. He is on that team. And despite the ass whooping that was handed out as Germany won by 30, Vuce balled out and literally balled out for the entire game. Sarah, you can show the stats for Nikola Vucevic. Thank you very much. 23 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 10 of 13 from the field, and 2 of 3 from the three-point line. GOAT, just sitting watching the highlights of this, one, Vuce just looked great as far as physically. He looked great. And the other point is it's awesome to say that this is typical Vooch that we saw out there today, just scoring, as he likes to score, and hitting a couple of 3-pointers and getting some assists in as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just kind of brings me back to the same point that I made a handful of times, which is that, like, Vooch is the boozer of this generation. Like, He's just been really solid and really good across the board, even if he's not been the player that everybody hoped he would be because they didn't get LeBron and Chris Bosh and D Wade.
Yeah.
Vooch they paid too much to get him, and I think the extension was, like, not a very smart financial decision. But Vooch, you can't argue with that production. I know his shot has gone up and down. I know the limitations of his game, but, like, there is a steadiness to him that he can literally put up 23, 10, and 5 in every single game he's ever played.
Yeah.
And, that just, there's something for that. I know it's Eurobasket, but he's playing against a lot of good players. I mean, Franz Wagner, Dennis Schroeder on that team.
Both had good games.
Daniel Tice is on that team.
He sure is. Former Bull.
Tristan Da Silva, another NBA player. Like, they've got some guys. And, again, it's Eurobasket. It's not the same, but the games are shorter.
Yeah.
And the talent around him isn't as good, and he's still able to produce. So I'm not saying anything other than that. Like, I think there are oftentimes when you do these analyses, it's like the guy is either terrible or he's a superstar. And it's like, Vooch is just really solid.
Yeah. He's just really good. And you're right, Easy. Marko Simonovic, who I purposely didn't mention in that. But, yes, he is absolutely on that team as well. I disagree with you, Drez, when you're saying it's Euroball, so let's chill. I would disagree because we watched Vooch do this all year long, in the NBA. So if he went over there and just started acting brand new, I would feel you. But he was doing this literally all season long, man. And I just find it impressive that he can still continue on. And he just looked different as far as I'm just talking physically to me. He looked a little different, like he had lost some weight or he was a little leaner or whatever. However it was, he just looked different. But it's good to see him, still, balling out and still doing his thing, and doing it for Montenegro. Hopefully in their next game, they'll have some better results because you mentioned that German team was loaded. Like Franz, I believe, led the way with 23, and I believe Dennis Schroeder had 22. So, yeah, they played really, really well. Also, Serbia also played today. I was showing GOAT before this show started, what Nikola Vucevic was doing out there with his passes, and he still didn't play a lot of minutes and still had like 11 points, 10 assists, and 70 rebounds. So, yeah, it's Euro ball for sure. But, these guys who are balling are still guys who are balling, because even Franz Wagner, man, like he got down and did his thing. And Dennis Schroeder always plays well for that German team as well. But,
wasn't Matas supposed to play?
That's what I remember him saying he was going to be on the team.
Check in with him about that one.
See, that's a flex right there.
Because, Lithuania played Great Britain. They won by 24.
Wow.
There's been some really good games. Finland, Lowry has been absolutely
Lowry has been outrageous.
28, 6, and 3 today.
Ooh.
He's been absolutely cooking. And, a lot of good players. I don't know if Porzingis is playing, but like
he's playing.
He's playing. Okay, so Porzingis played today with Latvia, Şengün, and Cedi Osman in that game.
Yep.
You have Czech Republic and Portugal playing. Neemias Queta, who might be the Celtics starting center this year. Vic Krejci.
Wow.
I don't know. I just think like there's always like a surprising amount of players who do this, and whether it's like current really good players or just like guys that you haven't thought about for a couple of years because they've been out of the league, but they're still dominating in Europe. It's just cool to see them play, and then on top of it, like it's a different brand of basketball. It's just a lot of fun to watch. Like it's just different.
It's just different, man. All right, we're gonna wrap that up here. Before we get out of here, looking at those likes, ladies and gentlemen, we got to get those up. Hit the like button. Do it for Sarah Bear. She needs to see the likes. This is very important to her. And you do that, she'll get a 6-pack of RC Cola on top of that. And shout out to Sarah Bear's nephew, her dog that she showed us, man.
My nephew, Moose.
Moose, yes. I don't want to forget the name.
I can get I'll make some pictures with back screens tomorrow.
I'm kind of with it. You know what I mean? I'm okay with this.
We can do a dog segment.
You have a whole 15 minutes of talking about your dog?
Yeah.
I'm not shocked. Many photos. You know what? That's me. I'm done for even asking that question.
And if we want to talk more about dogs, I'm sure there's one in our Discord that you can become a CHGO diehard. We have a deal going on right now.
Very, very smooth, Sarah Bear. Tailgate tier is what you can sign up for, y'all. Limited time intro offer of $89.99. Get that free t-shirt. 2 Bears tailgate tickets, y'all. You see that value right there on your screen. You get that. That's what you're going to get along with the awesome t-shirt. There are 3 of those t-shirts, man, and they're all really, really cool. So, yeah, get yourself one of these. Come join us at the tailgate. It's going to be an amazing Monday night when the Bears demolish the Minnesota Vikings. So come enjoy the tailgate with us, man, and the whole crew. That's the main man over there, Will the Go Gottlieb. Follow him on Twitter at Will_Gottlieb and read everything that he does on the ones and twos, the one and only Sarah Bear doing her thing. I am Big Dave. We will see y'all tomorrow with another great guest. Tune in to find out. CHGO Bulls. Peace. We out.
We all silly like the mayor.